Hello everyone, Burger Brush here, and today I'm just going to talk a little bit about a build I have been playing during the Heist League. Now, a while ago I wanted to make a character that can actually map pretty fast and efficiently and can also actually handle endgame content somewhat well. So I decided to look into one of my old builds that I made in 3.9, which is a Raider eye-shot build using frenzy charges and the Hope Shredder bow. Now, last time I did this, I didn't really invest a lot of money, and it actually turned out to be a pretty fun build, but I didn't really make it that well, and I was pretty new into build making in 3.9 as well, so I didn't really explore too much. But coming back this league, I realized that I can make the build a lot more better, and I can also invest a little bit more money to see how it actually can perform in endgame content overall, such as bosses and map clearing. So today's video is just going to be a little bit about talking about this build. Now, this is not a build guide. You can definitely grab the path of building if you want in the description, but there will be no guide to this build, as I do believe that this build is actually pretty hard for people to play due to a lot of the mechanics regarding the Hope Shredder, and this being a pretty low life build where you can get one shot pretty easily. But it still has performed pretty well for me. I've killed Awakener 8 Sirus, I've killed Shaper and Elder, and I've also just done like every single tier 16 map I have found with any mods and whatnot. Now, one thing I haven't really tried out is the Simulacrum or Uber Elder, but I think it could handle Uber Elder pretty well, but I don't think it can handle Simulacrums. Now, I did spend around 15 to 20x like a month into the league on this build, and it does have pretty good gear, so you know, it's nothing too expensive, but it's still a somewhat heavy investment, which is needed for any kind of build that you actually want to clear endgame content on, if you ask me. And this one can actually map pretty damn fast as well, due to its high clear speed with the eye shot, and due to its high movement speed as well, because of the Raider Ascendancy, all the frenzy charges that we stack, and the Hope Shredder also giving movement speed. And then I have Tailwind Elusive Boots as well, which I crafted myself, cost me about 6x, and actually did get a pretty good pair as well, so that was really nice. And yeah, I'm going to show you a couple of clips here of me killing Veritania, and me killing Baran, and me also killing Sirus. Now, the thing about the build is that it is a low life character, and it completely relies on dodge as a defensive mechanism, because it is a ranged Raider character where we play bow and we just stack a lot of dodge. So it is very tough for certain bosses such as Sirus, as you can see here in the clip of me killing Sirus, is that you still have to do the mechanics pretty damn properly, but it does have very nice damage, and if you can handle the mechanics, you can definitely kill this boss and all the other bosses in the game as well. And one pretty annoying mechanic that we're going to talk a little bit about later is the Hope Shredder mechanic that you can see here. When I'm running around out of the maze, I am dropping a lot of HP, and I do not have my golem up, and I do not have my life flasks up either, so it does get kind of scary sometimes. So yeah, the gear basically consists of a Hope Shredder bow, here's Ire, Void Fletcher, I have a shaped ring with Assassin's Mark on hit, and then I also play with a Mark of the Elder that gives us a lot of damage, and Pandemonious. And then for belt, I've chosen just life, a lot of resists, and some elemental damage and just damage overall. Boots, I told you earlier, I managed to make pretty damn good elusive tailwind boots for myself, crafted these, so those are very nice. Not really like 100% needed for the build, but obviously elusive tailwind is nice for a lot of characters. For gloves, I just have generic rare gloves with life, resists, and physical damage converted to cold. Also have some intelligence here to help us with some intelligence requirements. And the same thing goes for the helmet. Life, resists, also have some strength on it to help with strength requirements for the build as well. And yeah, that's basically it. It's nothing too crazy. It's a pretty normal Void Fletcher as well. And we just stack a lot of cold damage and a lot of, you know, physical damage that we convert to cold and elemental damage with attack skills and all that stuff. And our Ice Shot just does a lot of cold damage because of our Hope Shredder. We have so many Frenzy charges. As we're playing Raider, we gain a lot from Frenzy charges, and then we have a lot of the Frenzy charges with Savagery, Anointed, and all the Frenzy charges in the skill tree. Now, you could also play with the +1 Frenzy Charge boots as well if you're playing this a little bit more budget. They're still great and gives you a lot of damage and a lot of movement speed and everything. Also a little bit of resist, but I managed to get these boots later on, so I'm just playing with them. And then Dying Sun and a Serious Promise for you know, damage for a single target, and even for clearing as well. Now, the main thing is that we actually play with Ice Shot for clearing, but we do swap over to pure Barrage for bossing, because Barrage has so much damage, and if you convert all the damage from, or like if you try to convert as much damage from physical to cold as possible with Barrage, with you know, stuff like this, and then having Fangs of Frost. Now, you could also play with Winter Spirit, but I did not actually go for that, but you could also do that as well. It's really great. The Barrage does a bunch of damage. Slow projectiles, Ice Bite, Hypothermia, Elemental damage, and Inspiration support. And Barrage with, you know, added projectiles with the Dying Sun and all the cold damage that we have from the Hope Shot and everything. It is a tremendous amount of damage. And then the Void Fletcher, I mean, on top of that, is just crazy. Now, if you could get, you know, +1 Barrage on your helmet, this would be even crazier. But as I said, I've only invested about 15-20x. Pretty shitty Assassin's Mark ring, but then, you know, 6-link Hope Shredder, 6-link Here's Ire, and a good Pandemonius, and then the boots cost me a lot. But the boots are mainly for clear speed, but they did cost a lot of money. But yeah, pretty fun, good build overall. Now, the only problem that the build has when it comes to mechanics is that for Pantheon, we're kind of forced to play Soul of Rislatha. That recharges our Life Flask a lot, because the Hope Shredder has a very unique mechanic that when you run, when you have Frenzy charges, you take cold damage while running. So as you can see here, the Hope Shredder, you take 200 cold damage per second per Frenzy charge while moving. And we have a lot of Frenzy charges when we actually absolute max out, so we take a lot of cold damage. Now, to counter this, we have Survivalist, which gives us +1 maximum cold rest, so we have 76 cold rest altogether. So 200 per Frenzy charge sounds like a lot, but you know, then we have our resist on top of that, and it's not that crazy. But sometimes when you're mapping, you're running very fast with all the movement speed that we have, and you're losing health pretty fast, and you have to use your flask quite a lot, and that's why we have to play with Soul of Rislatha. And I'm gonna show you a little bit here, kind of just how much life you're losing when you are at max Frenzy charges. So right now I'm at max Frenzy charges, and you can see my HP start dropping off quite a bit right now. Now I don't have any form of leech on my character, and as I'm running around, my HP is just significantly dropping more and more as I run along. But you know, you counter this with the Life Flask, and you also counter it with the leech that we have as well, because we do have some life leech in the build, so as long as you're hitting stuff, it's not really doing too much. Blood Rage, you can play with that as well. Now with Blood Rage, the HP is going to drop even fast, as you can see here. If you want to opt out of Blood Rage, you're going to lose a little bit of damage, but still maybe it won't be that bad with just the Hope Shredder instead. But you can see I'm losing a little bit of HP when I'm not leeching, like right now. Lose quite a lot with Blood Rage and all that stuff, so you have to use your Life Flask a lot and just keep on hitting mobs to leech life. But that's basically it. Other than that, it's a really fun build. It is great clear, wasn't too expensive, can still do basically all the endgame bosses, and Ice Shot is a favorite of mine in Path of Exile, and I love playing ranger builds, so this just felt absolutely at home for someone like me. Thank you very much for watching the video, and feel free to subscribe here at my YouTube, and also feel free to go over to twitch.tv/burgerbrush and drop me a follow over at my Twitch as well, where I stream almost daily. So thank you very much, and I'll see you around.